The moment their lips met, the air around them seemed to crackle with forbidden electricity. Lisa's hands trembled as they rested on Emily's face, while Emily, bold and unyielding, deepened the kiss, her arms wrapping firmly around Lisa's waist. Their shared breath was heavy with an unspoken understanding that this was both dangerous and intoxicating. When they finally pulled apart, Lisa stared at Emily, her cheeks flushed and her heart pounding. "This is wrong," she whispered, though the words lacked conviction. Emily smirked, a clever glint in her eyes. "Wrong doesn't always feel this right," she replied, her fingers lightly tracing the edge of Lisa's jaw. "You've spent so long being perfect. Lisa, maybe it's time to let yourself feel alive." Lisa's resistance crumbled under Emily's confident gaze. For years she had been the composed one, the one who kept the family together. But Emily's words struck a chord. The young woman's rebellious spirit and boldness filled the void. Lisa hadn't realized it had grown so large. The days that followed were a dangerous dance. Emily was the instigator, always finding subtle ways to close the gap between them. She'd slide her fingers over Lisa's hand during breakfast or press against her while passing in the narrow hallway. Her touch was always deliberate, her intentions clear. One evening, while Robert was out at a late-night meeting, Lisa sat on the living room couch, pretending to read a book. Emily entered the room quietly, her eyes locked on Lisa like a hunter stalking prey. "You seem tense," Emily said softly, sitting beside her. Lisa closed the book, her fingers tightening around the edges. "Emily, we shouldn't—" Before Lisa could finish her thought, Emily leaned in, her lips brushing against Lisa's neck. "We already have," she whispered, her breath warm and enticing. Lisa shivered, unable to resist. Her hands found Emily's shoulders, pulling her closer. They kissed again, their connection deepening as barriers crumbled. Emily's cleverness shone through in how she anticipated Lisa's hesitations, countering them with calculated affection. As their romance grew, they discovered ways to keep their secret hidden. Emily was resourceful and knew how to avoid suspicion, while Lisa's years of managing a household gave her the ability to stay composed under pressure. They developed a routine, a fleeting touch in the kitchen, whispered words behind closed doors, and stolen moments when Robert was distracted or away. Their boldness increased with each passing day. On a rainy afternoon, Lisa and Emily stood on the back porch, the sound of raindrops masking their laughter. Emily pulled Lisa close, twirling her playfully before pressing her against the railing. "You make me feel unstoppable," Lisa admitted, her voice barely audible over the rain. Emily grinned, her wet hair clinging to her face. "That's because you are. You just needed someone to remind you." They kissed passionately, the rain soaking through their clothes, heightening their connection. Lisa felt free in Emily's arms, as though the weight of her carefully constructed life had finally lifted. But their cleverness couldn't shield them from the inevitable. One night, as they lay together in Lisa's bed, the sound of a car pulling into the driveway sent a jolt of panic through them. Robert had come home early. "Quick," Lisa whispered, pushing Emily toward the adjoining bathroom. Emily moved swiftly, her sharp instincts kicking in. She slipped into the bathroom, leaving the door slightly ajar to listen. Lisa composed herself, smoothing her hair and adjusting her robe just as Robert entered the bedroom. "You're still up?" he asked, his tone curious but unsuspecting. Lisa smiled weakly. "Just reading," she replied, holding up a book she hadn't touched in hours. Robert nodded and headed toward the bathroom. Emily's heart raced, but her cleverness saved her. She flushed the toilet, turned on the sink, and emerged nonchalantly. "Hey, Dad," she said casually, acting as if nothing was amiss. "Just washing up." Robert gave her a puzzled look but said nothing, heading back to the bedroom. Emily shot Lisa a quick, knowing smile before retreating to her own room. The close call only fueled their passion further. They became bolder, sneaking out late at night to meet in secluded spots, sharing their fantasies and dreams. Emily's youth and wit complemented Lisa's maturity and depth, creating a magnetic connection neither could resist. But beneath their cleverness and romance lay the shadow of discovery. The more they indulged in their secret affair, the closer they came to the edge of a precipice they couldn't avoid forever. The intensity of their affair continued to build, but as the days turned into weeks, Lisa and Emily both knew they couldn't live in secrecy forever. The weight of their hidden love began to press on them, but instead of letting it crush their bond, it brought them closer. They started to dream of a future where they could be free, away from the prying eyes and judgment of others. One evening, while Robert was out of town again, Emily took Lisa's hand as they sat on the porch swing, the sun setting in a blaze of orange and pink hues. "Do you ever think about just leaving it all behind?" Emily asked, her voice soft but serious. Lisa hesitated, staring at the horizon. "Sometimes," she admitted. "But where would we go? What would we even do?" Emily smiled, her cleverness shining through. "Anywhere, everywhere. We could start over, just the two of us. No secrets. No pretending." Lisa's heart ached at the thought. For years, she had lived a life dictated by expectations and roles she felt obligated to play. With Emily, she had rediscovered her passion, her courage, and even her identity. "Do you think it's possible?" Lisa asked, her voice tinged with hope and fear. Emily leaned closer, her lips brushing against Lisa's. "Anything is possible if we're together." That night, they made their decision. Under the cover of darkness, they packed a few belongings into a small suitcase. Lisa left a note for Robert, apologizing for everything and explaining that she needed to follow her heart. As they drove away, the city lights fading into the distance, Lisa felt a mix of fear and liberation. Emily, sitting beside her, reached over and intertwined their fingers. "We're free now," Emily whispered. The next few months were like a dream. They traveled from town to town, exploring new places and building a life where no one knew their past. Lisa took up painting, something she had always wanted to try, but never had the courage to pursue. Emily, ever resourceful, found work as a freelance writer, her wit and charm winning over clients. One evening, they sat on a quiet beach, the sound of waves crashing against the shore. Emily leaned her head on Lisa's shoulder, her fingers tracing lazy patterns on Lisa's arm. "Do you regret it?" Lisa asked, her voice barely audible. Emily lifted her head and looked into Lisa's eyes. "Not for a second," she said firmly. "You're my everything, Lisa. You make me feel alive, loved, and understood. I'd do it all over again." Tears welled up in Lisa's eyes as she cupped Emily's face in her hands. "I don't deserve you," she whispered. Emily shook her head, a gentle smile on her lips. "We deserve each other." Under the starry sky, they shared a kiss, sealing their commitment to a love that defied all odds. Though their journey had been fraught with challenges, they found solace in knowing they had chosen each other. Their love, though unconventional, was theirs, and that was enough.